Good morning, all. Welcome aboard to the Morning Note. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of GAR Capital. It is May 10th, 2024, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You're locked into the YouTube channel. Again, the Morning Note is every morning at 9 a.m. The only reason I did do it yesterday was the fact that I did a recap video Wednesday night for our options members, and I didn't feel like kind of repeating the same thing that we did that night. So that it was a flat day, but at the end of the day, Tuesday and Wednesday were the lowest volume for the terms of the S&P since 2021, excluding holidays. That was a note I read yesterday. But we got some action yesterday. We had a nice push in markets. Again, we broke above that 50. We talked about that breakout. We're going to go over some charts here in a second. So again, glad to be with you guys. The morning note is not going to stop. I still love doing it with you guys. But again, I don't want to waste anyone's time either. If you really do like the commentary every single day, if you're a big fan of the morning note, you got to be on the server, the Discord server, because the blog is going to get you all the information that we're watching and talking about on a daily basis. So if you like to be more in touch with GAR Capital, the Discord server is the way to go. But if you're a YouTube fan and you're just here to watch these videos, glad to be with you. Let's rock and roll. Dow futures are up 91 points. Again, getting the extension of the rally yesterday. NASDAQ is up 43. S&P is up 13. We hit on futures, NASDAQ and S&P overnight. I actually traded gold personally last night. We had a nice little breakout. I'm going to go ahead and talk about that here in a second. The Russell 2088 up 0.22%. The dollar index is at 105.31, up 0.08%. It's nice to see that even though the dollar's up slightly, markets are going higher. Once we break 105, guys, I think that's where markets really start rallying. That's really what we're looking for. Now, what's the catalyst that might get us there? We're going to talk about this weekend, which is the CPI and PPI next week. So we got some inflation data coming, and we're going to talk about that this weekend. So make sure to keep it locked here. Turn on notifications or subscribe to our channel so you don't miss that video. The VIX is actually up this morning, 1281, up 0.95%. Crude oil is up 0.43% at 79.60. Gasoline futures are flat this morning. Gold futures, I just talked about that. They're up 1.18%. Again, that's off the highs. 28.56, up 0.69%. I closed my gold long at 3 a.m. this morning. I just got up and I was like, oh man, gold is running. Copper's up, and that's important for our FCX position. Very, very nice. That is up 0.76%. I believe silver, I repeated that, is up 0.69. Dollar yen is up 34 pips. Euro dollar is down 11 pips. Dollar Canadian dollar down 24. Bitcoin and Ethereum are up this morning, rather marginally. So let's go ahead and get to it. S&P 500 futures. This is what I want to show you guys. I wrote this on the blog as well. You could see basic chart pattern. You could see that upward channel, the breakdown, and then again, a breakout of this downward channel. The last time that we had this very similar setup was, let me see if I can get this weekly setup here. Again, rising channel, the breakdown. This was back in October, November of last year, 2023. And then we went from 43.71 all the way to 53.33. That is exactly what I expect to happen. So if we just kind of move this a little bit, we'll go to the daily. So again, you had that push higher, channel down. I know this looks like crap, but then you had the push higher. So that's what I'm expecting. We'll stay within this channel. So let's go ahead and draw it out, team. If we were looking at continuation here, and what would consider this continuation, I believe that our CPI number is actually going to come in weaker than expected, and PPI as well. So that should give us the ignition to get us higher. I believe the dollar will go down. I believe commodities will go up, gold, oil, gasoline, and so on and so forth. Pick your heart, guys. You know, if the stock market goes up, more than likely gas prices are going to go up. So we don't have control over gas prices, but we do have control of our decisions with the stock market and trading. Let's see here. So if we were to draw exactly how far we would go, or kind of the channel, it would probably use this here. We'll kind of use this as our barometer. And you can see that break, kind of a straight line higher. Now, again, markets are not perfect. We know this. Again, this is all estimates. But again, we'll just keep this channel here as kind of what we're going to go. So 5,400 to me, all-time highs are inevitable. That's coming very soon. I would say after CPI. So let me remove this here, remove this drawing, and you can see again, one more time on S&P 500 futures. See if I can get the pointer. Let's fix this up, reset. There you go. Okay, so again, got the break out of that channel. We're above the 50-day. Remember that last time we rejected it? That's a break. We're above the 20. That's momentum. So we're looking at, for me, 5,400. And then right here is our previous all-time high. I think CPI next week gives us that ignition to get there. And why do I say that? The dollar is now below the 20-day. So momentum is to the downside. We will break 105. More than likely, we'll get to 104.67, and then we'll bounce there, and you'll see some profit taking. That's what I'm looking for. But I'll go into more detail this weekend on the charts. Let's take a look at NASDAQ as well. NASDAQ futures, you can see we are now above this flag here, and we're above this trend line here. So all good things. Just need to stay above around 18,150. Right now we're at 18,262. I fully expect us to get to around 18.5, and I feel that we should just play longs until we get there. I say we buy the dip until further notice in terms of the stock market itself, because of that same pattern that we have, the breakdown of that channel and the breakout that was from last October. So I did write that here as well. Let's go to watches and charts right there. Let's see, market. Or did I write it in investment club? Standby. I think I wrote it in investment club. There we go. Investment club. Here we go. We're going higher. Again, channel breakdown, up higher. And I wrote this yesterday at 241. So 6,000 is my target. I'll call that my 12-month target for the S&P. I know, super bullish, but that's the way I do things, right? All right. I know I got a ton of stuff out there. I'm going to go over the trades that we have open for options members on our pre-market note. So for right now, let's answer some questions. Good morning. Good morning. PayPal and Tesla outlook for the next 2 years. I would be more bullish on Tesla than I would PayPal, to be quite honest. Top of the morning, Amazon and NVIDIA calls, please. Amazon, I was watching closely yesterday as well. I did hit a new all-time high. Break 190.170. I'm going to keep an eye on the 200 calls, depending on volume. But let's wait for that previous high of 191.70 for the break. NVIDIA calls. NVIDIA, we're waiting for 920 to break. Right now, it is up pre-market with futures, so that's a good sign. Looks like NVIDIA is really just holding on. Again, you're above the 50, you're above the 20, just like S&P 500. So NVIDIA inevitably, to my opinion, is going to get to 920 rather soon. Thoughts on SPY? Higher, honestly. Yeah, you could just target all-time highs at 525, 524. Just got to pick your time frame. Those options for next week might be a little pricey because of the implied volatility of CPI on Wednesday, the Consumer Price Index, and PPI on Tuesday, which is the Producer Price Index. So just bear that in mind. It's going to be a little pricey. Yes, XOM update. Let's do it. XOM had a great day yesterday. CVX was better. Fine. 120.67. This is why we buy time. And the good news is that the cup and handle is still there. I wish we would have closed above the 20-day. But the good news, guys, we're above it now. So again, we're going to use that 20-day from the time being as kind of our support. 120 breaks. That's your downward flag. Guys, XOM is going to hit. You just got to be patient. Hence why we bought June. I apologize for the wait. I apologize for the sea of red. But stocks do not care about our feelings and what we want. We just react. And I still believe XOM, crude oil, and energy companies are going to go higher. CVX, breakout. We get to 167.12, which is almost there. We'll go to the 4-hour to show a little bit more color. And you can see that downward channel breakout. Break 167.12, guys. 170 is next. We'll take a look with crude. Holding on to that very clean trend line. We'll go ahead and extend the drawing to the right. We got to get above 80. Remember, crude oil was in a sense of a correction. Bounced off the 100-day very cleanly. The 200-day MA is at 80.11. Once we crack that, we got to get to 81.43. That's your 20-day. Once you're above the 20-day moving average, that's your momentum indicator. Again, what's going to get crude oil higher? We had a good inventory report this week in terms of crude draw. But again, inflation next week. This is why you buy time. So we can deal with the stupid chop that we just had on Tuesday and Wednesday. Literally the worst volume for trading since 2021. Here, I'll even show you guys. Where is it? Here we go. Over the last 2 days, Tuesday and Wednesday was the lowest since 2021. And what happens? That burns premium. It wastes time. Fed a burn. But when you have time, you can sit back and just wait. This is why we've been doing that. You got to be patient, guys. If you want instant money, that's slot machine talk, man. That's kind of tough. Again, your risk is going to be higher. You're going to lose a lot more. In my opinion, I think just being consistent and focusing on making money and profitable consistently over time than just hitting it big, trying to hit a bit every time. I'd rather have a higher batting average like Tony Gwynn than just start swinging at home runs every single time like Aaron Judge. Go Yankees. Let's see the questions. Good question. Looking at some charts 1 year daily on Meta. Let's see the gap fill. You're talking about the gap fill. Yes. Here's the problem. Could we fill it? Well, we're above the 20 now, and you're between two gaps, 484, which we have not filled, and 400, which we have not filled. So again, I'm rather neutral on Meta. Meta's going to be expensive as it is regardless, but 525 or above 500 breaks, you can target the new all-time highs. That's just what the earnings reaction was. Now, granted, pre-market, not including the daily chart, this technically filled, which is at 400. Look at the 4-hour. See, we hit 398 on a print overnight. Now, does that count as a gap fill? You be the judge. Again, it could work both ways. So, I mean, that's why I'm kind of neutral there. I would just wait. I think there's better opportunities out there than Meta at the moment. You're very welcome. That was trade with the B. Thoughts on Triple M? Good entry. I assume you want to trade this, or I assume you want to invest in it. So we'll just do the trading side. Above 100. There you go. Above 100, then you can target 120. Could be a 20% turnaround, but this is 3M. It's a chemical company. It's not very volatile in the sense that you're going to get these big spikes. And it's been in a downward trend really for a while now, for over a year and a half, 2 years. But now you're above the 20. So maybe we'll get some juice here. Again, the stock market's going to go higher. 3M is going to go higher with it. It's just the reality. I showed you guys the breakdown on S&P futures. With Tesla filling the downside gap, can we expect them to start moving higher now? I expect the stock market to move higher. Yes. The problem is that Tesla has a ton of headlines pretty much daily. So what do we do with that? Well, so far, the pattern that I spoke about, kind of bouncing off this channel here, has held. Have we gotten overcooked or overbought? No, not at all. We're right at the 50-day, and we're up slightly. So again, kind of like Meta, I'm rather neutral here. I still expect Tesla to get to 200, maybe even to 205, maybe in the summer, especially if rates go down, because that's going to help car sales, interest rates going down, lease payments, yada, yada. If we kind of want to start looking at getting excited on Tesla again, get above 185. If we're looking for downside, you get below 165. Now, if we're going to the smaller time frames, we have not filled this 1 hour gap. I know, now I'm splitting hairs. There is a daily gap, and that's been filled. So we can go ahead and remove that. But you also have one more here from earnings. Do we get down there? Meta hasn't, technically. Will Tesla get there? So now you're between, just like Meta, between two gaps. You still have one at 206, and now you got one at 147. As of right now, I would stay rather neutral on Tesla until we can see some proper direction. I don't want my clients or you guys burning through capital just because we want to throw something on the wall. We're better than that. Good morning. Good morning. What are your thoughts on SHOP, and what are your levels to watch? Let's do it. All right, nice recovery off the 200-day gap down. Lord, where are we? 62. Oh, not a recovery. Sorry. Here it is. Did we fill the gap? We did. So that's one. So we got to get above 64.86. And if we do, I'm pretty sure the volume will be coming in for the 70s. And I think we can trade that off this support on the daily. You can see it kind of the peak here, breakout, break down, and see if we can retest, Use this as support. Problem is you got that 200-day at 68, but I think if we get above 65-ish, we could target the 70 calls and play the turnaround. You also have another gap here, another gap here. So if you're starting to notice a theme, we're kind of neutral with these kind of tech companies, the growth names. You're in between kind of two ferns. What can you do? So I think Shop looks a little better and be cheaper, but 64, 86, 65. Let's wait for that. You're welcome, Jack. What about Apple levels? I got 185 calls for June 21. That's going to go. Masterclass and me have the 185 calls. We are green on them. I think we hit 40% on it or 30%. I got in a little earlier. 187.04. That's really the target. And I do expect Apple to move higher. Again, the very similar pattern. So you can see it, right? Remember that downtrend and then the flag and it broke down, hit support, just like the support here, same deal, breaking out. Granted, we do have a gap to fill, so we do have some downside risk, 173.35, but my expectation is with the S&P going higher and the NASDAQ going higher, 187 breaks, I'm going to send a signal out for the 195s, possibly the 190s, depending on volume. This is the same exact setup as XLE, and everyone caught it. So stick with Apple. I would say stay long. If we can get above the recent highs of 187.04, you target 196.81, and guess what? You sell it or you short it down to back 190 or maybe 185. Ping pong the way we go. Thoughts on S to buy here for the long term? S is Sentinel One. I don't know much about this company, to be quite honest. There's nothing on the charts that scream buy me. Above 30 maybe, but you did fill at least this gap here. I believe this was an earnings gap. So above 30, I guess it becomes interesting. But other than that, I have no idea what this company does. Is BAC ready to sell? I got 39 calls for July 21 in the green. All right. Finally, BAC, a lesson in patience. 38.50, really a 38.60. You could see that, but I put 38.50. Once 38.50 breaks, it's off to the races. This is a complete breakout and it's coming. The question is when? And I believe that either today we will squeeze higher as we will rally into the end of the day. That's my opinion. I have this ugly feeling that Monday is going to be pretty ugly. I was reading some stuff regarding the almanac. Again, that's completely guessing. That Monday may be a little bit of a pullback, but Tuesday we have PPI, I believe. Let me see if it is PPI on Tuesday. I'll go over this on the weekend video. Let's see. Yeah, PPI is on Tuesday. That's the producer price index. And then CPI, the expectation is going to be 0.3%. I believe will come in less than that. Bank of America is going to break out and it's going to get you to 40.57. So in my opinion, if you want to take the money, go for it. I mean, that is totally up to you. But in terms of what I think the stock is going to go, Bank of America is going to go higher. You're very welcome, Anmal. Are there any other questions here? Great questions today, guys. Great questions. I think that's it. All right, great. Went through the whole note. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and catch up with my clients and the team. See what the plan is for the rest of the day. We'll go with the pre-market plan. We got some risk open. I would love to close something today, make some more profits, and close out the week. Get us into next week because next week's going to be busy. Rock and roll. I will see you then this weekend. Have a great rest of your morning. I'll see you then. Cheers.